Welcome to the State of Nebula video, and we got a long post. I'm gonna send you guys the link to their page to Facebook. You definitely want to head over there and check it out. There's a lot of people talking about it right now, and you guys can talk about it here in the comments if you guys would like to. I'm rocking the purple and gold again, and I didn't expect to make this video today. I'm gonna read you guys the post, and you guys can react to it how you want to. And I'm just gonna share my own individual words for today. And I didn't expect to come out with this today. I thought we were gonna have to wait till Friday, but it's gonna be more news next week. So if you guys don't want to listen to this, you guys don't have to. But I just thought I'd give you guys the heads up. They're gonna talk about more news with the State of Nebula, with this situation that they're in coming next week for more news and stuff like that. I'm not gonna be talking to people in this throughout this video. I'm trying to watch out and dodge. Ducking and dodging and running around throughout this so I can really share my thoughts. So I'll be in between the spaces and teleport like this. But this is some of the issues they're going to be talking about. This is exactly what's wrong with the game. But let's start reading their post here. We got a long post here that they just posted about an hour ago. It's 3:30 p.m. my time. I'm just gonna get ready to read it for you guys, and you guys can share which options that you guys would rather pick in between, and I'm going to probably copy those as well in the description so you guys know, so you don't have to listen to the whole entire thing. But here we go. It said, "Hi there, we know that many of you are waiting for news about the current development state of Nebula Realms. I don't care if it freezes or not," and I'm just going to keep going, it doesn't matter. "Since the game is suffering from so many issues," there they are, quote word for word, "we did not want to share any news before we exactly knew the steps for us to follow to fix the constant game crashes, lags, and disconnections, and etc. The game right now suffers from scalability problems. That means that every time we add new features, the game becomes more and more unstable. With the current game code, whenever we do a fix or add a feature, something else crashes, becomes faulty," and they put in parentheses. "It is very frustrating. For a game that meant to be constantly growing, this is a issue that needs to be resolved. The sooner or the better. The problem is that the solution is not simple or easy, and it cannot be solved with a simple patch. We have tried this too." They said that's in parentheses. So here's the two options. They said at this point we're faced with two options. Here's number one. There's option number one, and you guys are going to see this in the description too, if you want it read out for word, or you can check out for their page as well. Facebook. This is option number one. Work with the current game code and spend our time trying to fix the problems coming from the current game code is what we always have been doing. That's option number one. That's something that they have always been doing with this game. Now they said the pros for this of option number one: the game keeps slowly growing, stuff gets eventually fixed, the community will remain happy until the game can't handle more updates. And then the cons: the game will always have problems. Different stuff will constantly break. Whenever we try to fix other stuff, the game will eventually be unplayable and players will stop entering the game. So that's a no-go for me. That's option number one. Those are the pros and cons with them trying to stay with the current game code, and everything's just constantly breaking over and over, and nothing's really getting fixed. And it's not gonna go like that. It's not when it's just gonna have constantly issues like that, because it needs to run better. So here's the second option, and this is the option I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna talk about it once I finish reading this post. Recode all the game from scratch. Recode the game from complete scratch and build a very solid game that will not suffer from scalability. And this is in parentheses. They said this is what they're doing right now. For option number two, it says what they're actually doing right now, recoding the game from scratch and trying to build a solid game so it runs a lot better. Now the pros for this option number two: the game will be built to last. The game has better core features. We can easily add mini games and features, animations, and spaces. And then they said, and the third-party companies can do too as well. I'm also going to switch spaces. Matter of fact, so I don't crash. Let's go here. Now the cons, I'm going to continue. The current Nebula will only have the basic maintenance and will not have new features other than the usual seasonal events until we release the new one. The community will suffer and we will potentially lose players. So they're talking about, let me stop. That's all their options right there. but I'm just going to read the post in a little bit. That means we're going to have a whole separate game outside of Nebula Realms. So we have this current one that we have right now, but it's going to be a brand new one that they're working on right now that's going to run actually better. So they said, to continue with their post word for word, they said, you might be thinking, easy solution, hire more people or go with option 1 and meanwhile recode everything for option 2. We cannot do that for 2 reasons. The first one is that we do not have the resources to hire that many more people that this will require. More people will join the team shortly. And they said coders. They're going to get more coders that's going to join the team shortly. But it will still not be enough. You see, some of their words is a little scrambled, but it will still not be enough to fork both projects. And the more we scatter our limited manpower, the longer it will take. So just to make more sense of that, because it doesn't make sense here, the more we scatter our limited manpower, the longer it will take to have things to get fixed, done, and released. And they said the second reason is that the more features we add to the current code, the longer it will take to the new one to catch up. The code for the old version is not usable in the new one, so it will be a waste of your and our time. It will delay the new game. We decided that option 2 is the best one in the long run, even so it comes at a price. We want the game to last, and with the current code, this is just not possible. So they put in stars. We are not fixing the game. We are making a brand new one. So they said, we've been super busy and excited with this, and we already have the core of the new game built. We are finally ready to share and display some. We will display more very soon of the advances. Please keep in mind that the core and the initial architecture of the game is the most difficult part of all the developing processes, and is also the stuff that you don't see, but it needs to be properly done for the game to run. And they said, from this point on, all that we have to do is add features to the game, which is a much more rewarding and visual process that we will share with you. And they said for today we were displaying a new video. You guys can check this video out on their page on Facebook, because you just go out and be on Facebook to just check out their page. You don't need a real Facebook to follow it. You can check it out. Just Google it and just head over there to the links to check out the video and see what it looks like. For today, we're just playing the video. You guys can check it out now. It showcases the working new graphic engine, and it showcases the last version of Unity 3D, and it's also working on the PlayStation 4. And it says it's the gray blocks under the TV PS4 dev kit. So they says, just to continue to wrap up the post, it said it creates and builds the character from separate assets in the scene. The character does not exist, is created at runtime with the assets that the player previously selects. That's not an easy task, but it's done and works like a charm. And it said merges the skeleton and adds the new animations to it. And then also in the video, you'll be able to see new camera features that have been added. The dynamic blur depending on distance. The character looks at the camera when the player focuses on the character, to make sense of it. And they said the skin, eyes, and clothing have been improved. And they said more features and more news and features will be shared next week. We will keep you constantly posted. So let's take a look. I'm gonna rewind it real quick. Taking a look at the video, it looks amazingly well done. That's what I wanted to really see. You see how he has that movement. You can see when you watch this, you can see how he's moving, and he has some actual life to him. That's an avatar right there. See, that's how it should be. He's moving. He has a little bit more movement to it. It's not like what we got right now. It looks very well done from the graphics. I'm just watching it all over again and just talking about it as I see. He's in the Nexus. He's in the Nexus right now. The trees looks good. The grass, the bushes and all that kind of stuff, it looks really good. You can see that same statue in the middle. And it showcases him, the character rotation, the rotation of the camera while he's controlling the avatar. And it zooms in. He's just showing the movement of him walking towards the bridge, walking past the bridge, or close to the bridge near the Lee Park. It's a 30-second video that you can check out on their page. So I'll link you guys over there to check it out. But scrolling here just to talk about it and discuss it with you guys, I gotta go 100% with what they just chose, because this game, is definitely needing of fixing. It needs a lot of fixes. Everything's just broken. You can't make it to point A to B. Let's just start going to some of these spaces that I don't trust. I can't even trust some of these public spaces because they just create so much blue screens, so much lag. The frame rate drops. It just freezes a lot, and I can't even stay on here on a stream without it crashing within like an hour or so, or maybe less than an hour. It'll crash depending on where I'm at, because it can't handle the traffic at the Nexus. It can't handle all those players loading in at one time. And then when they came out with the movie theater that was there for the movie theater update, it was just so much lag. It was just major slowdown. It was such a freeze fest. It was just ridiculous. So I'm sure this one is going to run so much better, and that within those 30 seconds, it runs a lot smoother. It looks graphically good. If you love graphics in your games, it looks really good, and that's the update what people are going to be looking for. So I definitely got to go with option 2. I gotta go with that. Recoding the entire game from scratch and building a solid game that doesn't suffer from the main issue that they've been having so much problems with this current version of the game. Now, before anyone gets ready you're probably just wondering, some other constant questions are being answered in the comments too. So if you have questions, you can ask. But from the only questions that I had off the top of my head that I want to check out before I try to make this video is that you don't have you won't have to remake your avatar from what they said. You won't have to create your avatar all over again. And then all your purchases that you made, if you did in this, is going to be saved. So it won't matter. Everything that you bought, it should be in the new version of Nebula, if anything. So those are probably going to be the main questions that you guys will have. Is purchases going to be saved? If you're going to maybe have to create your avatar all over again? Those are the two things that I had if I was wondering for this new version of the game. But I don't know I think the new version of the game is probably going to be available maybe later on this year. But I'm glad that they're going to be constantly talking about it and sharing news. This is the post that I wanted to see for such a while. I wanted to see I knew something was going on. I gotta say. I knew something. It was more than meets the eye with these guys with these updates. I knew something was up. I knew there was more. There must have been some kind of issue that they weren't. It was something that they wasn't telling us, because these little updates that they were coming out with, it just wasn't. It just seems like they were just thrown together. So that's what they've been doing. We got an idea what they've been up to for so long, for the past several weeks or how long it's been. They said it themselves. They got the core game already ready to go. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the game plays. I want to play it for sure, but this current game, I'm gonna probably drop the current game. But I'm thinking about it myself. Should I drop this game and just wait for them to come out with the new version? Because I don't know. I don't know what else they're gonna probably add for this current version, because all their focus are now gonna be gonna go into the new, I would say, Nebula Realms 2. Nebula Realms 2 is going to be their main focus, or this new version of the game. Because this version is just going to get the basic updates and then just the seasonal events. But I'll probably just play it for the seasonal events, I'm thinking it now. But I'll see what they do when it comes to going forward for their updates and make the decision from there. Because depending on these updates, for these basic updates, I might just wait for the new core version to come out, and I'll probably just come on here just to hang out for like hangout streams. But I'm not sure what I'll do for as far as the updates go. Because if they're really going to they're focusing on recoding a brand new version of this game, I think that's going to be a much better game. I think it's going to bring a lot of people, a lot of players back, because it's gonna make those players, it's going to convince them to want to play again. It's going to run so much better. They'll be able to log in and log out in one piece, get to point A to B, from point A to B in one piece without crashing. It'll be a great game. It'll be a solid game. But I gotta say, personally, I would have did that. I probably would have made those moves prior to coming out with this kind of version of the game. As a game developer, thinking like that, I would have delayed it. I would have delayed Nebula Runs, the current version. Just thinking about that as another possible option before coming out with this long post. Just thinking about that from the beginning. They already had this problem. They already took the game off the PlayStation Store and already had to rebuild the servers to what it was already to make it playable for everybody to get in and log in when the game was first released. So when it first dropped, it was already a mess. So now they're already in this. They're back in a different situation now, trying to come out with a different version of the game now. So I think that's going to be a better choice for them. I think they're bound to get more players, more people that are probably skeptical about playing this game and on the fence about playing it. They're going to get it. They're going to get excited. But I can't wait to see what else they come out with and say what they say next week, because it's just going to depend on if they can get it working. Because they're going to need as much help that as they can get to try to get the servers and get everything working properly, because this current version is just a mess. But when that new version comes out, I'm dropping this one. But I'm just glad that we'll be able to keep everything that we got. If you got anything and purchase anything in the game, everything stays the same. So hopefully, no, there won't be any issues with that, with just the conversion issues with the new version of Nebula. I'm gonna just say Nebula Realms 2. I don't know what to call it at this point. But it looks really good. The 30-second video runs smoothly. That's what I wanted to see. And this is the post I was really trying to look for, just to say it again, to really inform us about what's been going on with the game and their plans going forward. But just thinking about the goals for the rest of their goals, they didn't mention those. They didn't really mention all that. The clubs and all that stuff, that's all going to be delayed because they got to start all over again. That everybody's been waiting for. So the PC players out there, you guys are going to have to wait. Unless y'all want to get a console and come play this game, come play the Nebula Realms 2. Y'all want to play Nebula 2? That y'all can play that. And see if y'all like it or not. And just make a decision from there. But I gotta agree with option number 2. 100%. That's a good idea. A solid game that's gonna run properly. It's gonna have a much more appeal compared to this current version, where all these players from my list have just stopped playing the game, or they just hardly ever come on anymore on this game, have dropped and deleted this game, moved on, and probably played maybe other social games, whatever games that you guys play. Somebody jumped in and mentioned Second Life that they like to play. It depends on what your cup of tea is. You might want to play that. You might want to play a different game or something like that. But I'm really excited to see this, and I'm really happy that they told us and were very informative with their options and everything that's been going on behind the scenes and what they've been up to. But let me know what you guys think of this new game. Are you guys going to be playing this new version of the Nebula Realms? I'm wondering what you guys are going to be thinking, and if you guys are going to continue to play. But I think if you guys who've recently deleted it, they're going to bring out this new version. I think they're going to really be excited for this one, if this is the type of game that you want to play and get into. But I'm looking forward to the solid version, and just going from there. I'm just gonna have to think about if I really want to just continue to cover the basic updates. I might probably just cover the seasonal updates and just leave the basic updates with the clothes and all that. Leave that stuff alone. I don't know what I'll do, but I'll figure it out and decide and see. But it's just, as you can see, it's just so, these spaces have gotten so small. But I see a lot, when that new version drops, I think it's going to be a lot more people coming on. And I think the game will be able to handle a lot more things to come. So I'm definitely going to be jumping on it whenever they get it together. But it seems like from their status, just to scroll one more time, they said it right here in the post. You can look at it. So we already have the core of the new game built. So they're ready to share and display what they got going on for more next week. So they already made some good progress. It's only January. It can, maybe within a few months' time, maybe we'll have the new version, but we'll see. But that's why they're not going to probably be coming out with less updates for this current version. So the brand new, or Nebula 2, doesn't take so long to catch up to the most modern update and modern recent updates. So I'm really excited for this. So I hope that hope everything works out for them for this. So I'm hoping that they can really get more of those developers working on the game. So Nebula 2 is coming soon. I don't know what you guys might call it, Nebula 1.5, but I think this is Nebula Realms 2, because it looks like a whole different game just from that video itself.